This conference will now be recorded.
If you have any questions, you can ask. Okay, so maybe meanwhile, I think I'll try to explain what we discussed yesterday, and after that, on top of that, we continue with the next points. Okay, so yesterday we started understanding about Salesforce. The first thing what we need to understand, I think before I explain about this, I think some of you, I think you don't know some of the terminology, especially if you are from the non-technical background, like mechanical and the other streams. Okay, so maybe I'm going to take 5 to 10 minutes to explain. So some of the basic terminology. So after that, if I explain, I think you'll understand few things with more clarity. Okay. Now the thing what we need to know. So the thing is, I'm saying that our technology is based on the cloud computing, right? Cloud means internet. If you see this, the pictorial representation of the internet is cloud. Means as soon as we have internet, so the applications can be accessible, and also we can do the development by opening one of the website. So here, I think when I talk about a server, when I say database, I think some of the people are not able to understand. Okay, so to understand, so first thing, I think all of you know how we use a computer, right? Either desktop system or either laptop. So let's say when you purchase the laptop, so what people talk, so what is the configuration of the laptop? Let's say I'm using a laptop. My laptop configuration is 500 GB memory, and I have 6 GB RAM and processor, and all those things people say, right? So all of us, we know how the computer works, right? Computer is, this is a hardware. I have my laptop. In my laptop, I have the memory, I have the RAM, and all the hardware needed to operate this computer and access whatever I want. Okay. So our computer without OS, right? You might be hearing about what is your OS, Windows 7, Windows 10. Even though you have laptop, in your laptop, if the operating system is not installed, what will happen? You cannot use your laptop, right? So maybe you need to write some commands and do that. Practically, no one can operate like that. Okay. So when we have the hardware, right, our computer is like a hardware. So the computer is having the monitor, the computer is having the memory, RAM, processor, and everything. In an easy way to operate the computer, we need the operating system, right? So Windows 7 or Windows 10. So I'm using Mac. So maybe Macintosh, one operating system I have, right? So when you have the operating system, it makes our job easy. With easy way, how you can access the files what we store in our laptop. Let's say I stored videos and the images and some of the documents. I can easily, right, click here, right? We have easily, you can navigate and you can open. So all these things, how we are able to manage due to the operating system. So along with the hardware, having the software on top of the hardware to make it work is also important. Okay, now we know computer and we should have a software to operate that in a meaningful way. All of you, I believe you know why we use hard disk, right? Memory to store all our videos and images and everything. We use the hard disk, and also we have RAM, right? RAM means we say 8 GB, 6 GB RAM, like that. What is the purpose of the RAM? So there is a difference between the memory and RAM, right? Memory means if you store one of the video or if you store some image or document, even though you shut down your laptop and again if you start your laptop, that file will be there, right? So permanently whatever the data we store, that will be there until you delete. RAM, the purpose of the RAM is runtime memory. That means after starting my laptop, now I opened Chrome browser. I'm using one of the browser to access the internet. I opened GoToMeeting, right, and to present my screen and explain. So I also have one of the other tool is one of the text editor open, right? So when I open all these things, here I am also typing. Here I am also typing some of the notes to explain to you. So all these things to run this application at runtime, system needs some memory, right? So let's say I also have one game in my laptop, but if you want to start the game, let's say at runtime the game needs 16 GB RAM, but my RAM is only 6 GB. My system will hang. I cannot use my system. So that's the purpose of the RAM. RAM means when we open the applications at runtime, whatever the temporary information what we are storing, to hold all that information, the RAM will be useful. Memory means the permanent data what we store. Okay, that is the just our simple computer, right? So now when we say internet, right? So when we say internet, I am opening the browser, and here I am giving one of the website, right? So when I enter the website URL and enter, what will happen? Internet is connected with many other computers and servers also, right? So what is server? We know about computer. So what is server? So computer is a simple hardware. Each and every individual, they can open and they can use the computer and they can store their information. Server is a powerful, even more powerful, maybe 1,000 times, 100 times powerful when compared to our computer. That is also a hardware. Maybe you might be having 1 terabyte memory. In server, there can be hundreds of thousands of terabytes of memory, right? That much powerful hardware. That is also a computer. Server is also a computer. Our laptop is also a computer, but that is a powerful when compared to what we use. Okay. So, so what will happen? Let's say we also use YouTube on daily basis, right? When you open youtube.com, what will happen? You'll see the videos. You can open those videos and access those videos. From where the videos are coming? YouTube, they maintain a server, right? They maintain one of the big computer in one of their location, right? So it will be having thousands of terabytes of gigabytes of memory. Okay. So there is a address, right? youtube.com. So internally, so there is a unique address to identify this server of the YouTube. YouTube is having hundreds of servers. Whenever you try to request, our request will go to the YouTube server. That is also nothing but one of the hardware. It's also like a very big computer, right? And also there is a software installed, right? Like our Windows is client. In our laptop, whatever we install, that is a client operating system, Windows. We also have Windows Server operating system. to run the server, some special kind of software, right? So by installing that software on the server through internet, whenever we request, due to this address, whatever we give, it will locate that server in the internet, right? Internet is nothing but there are hundreds of, if you see how the network is connected across the different countries, under ocean, under sea, there are many cables connected, right? So from our computer, whenever you try to open youtube.com, there is a unique address. It will try to identify the youtube.com, the server related to that. Our request will go to all these cables, and let's say the YouTube server is in America, right? Our request will go to that server and bring that information, and we see that information, right? So if we have some videos in our laptop, only we can access, right? We can log in and access. No one can access my videos which are in my hard drive. If you want to allow your videos to access by other people, we can also make our computer as a server. You can also connect our computer to internet, so that if someone requests, they can also watch our videos which are present in our hard disk. But when you do like that, we should not shut down our computer. It should always run, right? So servers also same. Server is also a computer that will never shut down unless there is some maintenance. Okay, sometimes we hear about maintenance. It won't be available for 1 hour, but 24 hours that will be opened, and whenever you request, it will be ready to respond and show that information, right? So in such a way, the network will be connected. So all you need to understand, when I say server, server is also a computer which is located in one of the place, one of the country. Through internet, that server will be connected. Whenever we try to open one of the website, behind that there is a IP address. Through that, it will locate that server and bring that information and show. So that we call a server basically. Okay, just to try to understand the concept. Server looks like this: the huge hardware. On top of that, some software will be installed to operate, right? To provide whatever request we send. It take, and from that hardware, it will return the whatever we are requesting. Okay, so just that is you have to understand. Now, if you see this picture, so let's say now I'm using my computer, and you joined this meeting from your computer, right? So all of you, there are 40 members joined to this meeting. All of you, how you are joining? You have internet. Through internet, I started the meeting, and you also joining in that meeting. From where this GoToMeeting is, how this GoToMeeting is allowing to show my screen to you. GoToMeeting will be having a server, right? So all these are the servers, right? So our computers are connected to GoToMeeting, that server, and you are also connected to that server. Through that server, whatever the screen I am presenting, you are also seeing. It's like that. So all are interconnected. Okay, when I say server, you have to understand there is a huge hardware, and through internet from our computer, it will be connected to that server and get the information and show. That's what will happen. That is about the so what is the server, and how we connect to server and access the information. Okay, these are some of the basics. Okay, now you know what is server, what is computer, from computer how we connect to server, and all those things. Now when we deal with one of the application, right? Let's say any application you take. So let's say Google is also one of the application, right? Or Salesforce.com is one of the application. So this application, So how exactly here, whatever we see on the web page, this one we call as UI, user interface. Okay. So when I type something here, when I type something and when I enter, so what will happen? The business logic, right? Internally, our request will go to Google server. In Google server, so let's say this is my computer from the web browser. I'm typing Salesforce and I'm enter. When you click on enter, the request will go to right Google server, right? Google server, by reading my request, it execute the logic, right? It will execute the logic by taking Salesforce what we are so searching. Based on that, it will search in the storage of the Google. If there is any matching information, those results it will return, right? When I search Google, when I press enter, internally that request, how it will send, it will send to the Google server. Google server, it will execute the logic to bring the data from the storage, Google server storage, right? So that's what will happen internally. So that is about the business logic, how internally business logic is, which we cannot see. The UI we see when we do something on the UI and click on next or click on save or something you do, internally the business logic will be executed, and finally the business logic will try to interact with the uh, server or the storage where the information is present. Okay, so just try to understand. And also when I say storage, how the data will be stored. So to store the data in an organized way, maybe let's say all of you are joining this meeting. So let's say some of your information, maybe one of your email and something here I am storing, right? And something, some of other information I am storing somewhere. If I don't maintain in a proper way, later, let's say if I want to follow up with you, again, if I want to ping you and check something like that, if I want to do, I don't have the information in a meaningful way. It's very, very difficult to do my business without having the information in a proper, meaningful way. To make our data stored in a meaningful way, and whenever we require easily to access that information, we need database. Database is also a software, right? So once we have the hardware, once we have the server or computer, so how the information we store into that. So for that we need a database. It is also one of the software. There are many softwares for database. SQL Server, Oracle, all those are the database, right? So in our memory, in our server or in our computer, we need to install that software. Through that, we store the information in a meaningful way, right? So just understand, when I say database, so we store multiple tables information. Let's say all of you, whoever is joining here, for me, all of you are leads, right? I have your first name, last name, and the email and the mobile number. If someone is interested in joining, if you pay the fee, I also need to store the fee information, right? So in an organized way, I'm going to store all that information in different tables, and whenever I require, easily I can access that. So that we call as database, right? So now when we say we have one of the application, so what will happen? We see the whatever the web page we see on the UI, that is a UI, user interface, right? So from the UI, the user interface, when you make any request, the request, by taking that request, some logic will be executed. Maybe some complex logic in some of the scenarios will be executed. this business logic, this code will be interacted, it will interact with the database, right? Database. So the data, whatever we store in the database, needs some memory to hold, some hard drive or something. So you want to have this database in our local system, that is also possible. If you want to make your computer as a server, that is possible. But we can only store the limited information in our computer. Let's say there is a need of storing terabytes of information. That time the normal computer is not sufficient, right? So that time we use server. Server is nothing but a hardware which can store our information, right? So this is what we see. Okay. Mostly when we talk about this, right? So we have the web page. When you do something, it will execute some of the logic in the background. Through that logic, it will interact with the database. Again, database is one of the software to hold our information in a meaningful way. From here, obviously the data should store in some memory. For that, we use server. Okay. So that's the concept. So I believe just I thought of explaining few basics if you are from the non-technical background. Okay. Now, if you know this, now further to that, whatever I explained, I think you can understand. Okay. Now, yesterday at high level, maybe in few minutes, I'll explain what we discussed yesterday. So before we understand about Salesforce, we discussed about cloud computing. Cloud computing is a concept. The services what we can use through internet, that concept we call as cloud computing. So there are different types of services providing software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. Software as a service means using applications, Facebook, Gmail, Twitter, whatever we use, all those are software as a service. Platform as a service means instead of installing something, let's say I want to execute the Java program, what we need to do? We need to install Java software and we need to run the program. When platform as a service offered by cloud computing, that means through internet, we don't install anything. So what we do, there will be a server, right? Here, whatever we discuss, in one of the server, whoever is offering the platform as a service, that company, they maintain a server. In that server, they install the platform, the software what needed to execute for the development, right? So since they have the server and they install the software which is needed to run the program, and we are accessing that server through internet, that's the reason we don't need to install anything in our local system, right? What we do directly, we open internet, we connect to the company who is providing the service to that company server, and writing the logic and executing on their server where already the software is installed to execute, right? So so that's the platform as a service. Okay, so the other part is infrastructure as a service, right? So infrastructure as a service means, let's say one of the company, they want to store huge information. One of the way is they need to buy the server and connect that server to the internet. Buying the server is very expensive, right? So millions of dollars also maybe based on a very huge server they have to invest. Okay, so instead of that, some companies, they maintain the server. Small companies don't need the entire server to buy. They need only some space from the internet, right? So if you want some of the space in the internet, for sure internet is connected to a hardware, one of the server. So some companies, they maintain the servers and distribute the memory through the internet. Such kind of services we call as infrastructure as a service. Already we discussed Google Drive, Dropbox, So VMware, so some of the companies offering the infrastructure as a service. The main reason companies why they are using cloud computing, the cloud computing, it works with the multi-tenant architecture, right? Yesterday we discussed multi-tenant architecture. In the example of the server, right? Google company, they maintain only one server, but they are distributing that hardware to the multiple users, multiple companies in the market, right? So that way, the Google company, the revenue, whatever they get is more. And also as a customer, instead of buying the entire server, I am paying for what I use, right? Both will be happy. So that's why most of the companies, they are offering services with the cloud computing. And the Salesforce is one of the software company having headquarters in San Francisco. This company, they started with the concept of no software. That means no need to install any software in the local system. As soon as you have internet, you should be able to access the application. You should be able to do the development, right? So when we say Salesforce company, they are providing the software as a service and the platform as a service. From where they provide these services, they will be having a server, right? So this company, this Salesforce company, they are having hundreds of servers. Maybe in this example, so if you see like this Salesforce company, they have hundreds of servers. Through that server, they connected all the servers to internet, right? So when one of the company register with the Salesforce from one of the server, right? Not all entire server. Let's say this is one of the server. From this server, in one of the place, they get some of the space. Let's say Dell company, they registered with the Salesforce to use the Salesforce services. So when the Dell company register with the Salesforce, from one of the Salesforce server, they will allocate some of the space to Dell company. Dell company through internet, they will connect to that server, and also in that server, whatever the space allocated to Dell company, they will connect and they'll access that information, right? So they can access the standard applications, whatever Salesforce offer, and also in the place, whatever the Salesforce offered to this Dell company, whatever the space allocated to Dell company, already they have the software installed to run the programs, right? Platform as a service means we do the development and run our logic, right? So that's what will happen. This company, they maintain hundreds of servers, and whenever any client register with Salesforce, they are allocating some space. In that place, they are offering the applications and also the platform, so to use the application. Okay, so and also since I'm saying that Salesforce is offering CRM applications as a service, we also discussed about the CRM process, customer relationship management. So when you deal with any company, the company needs a CRM, right? In an organized way to maintain the information, the CRM will be useful. Mainly as part of the CRM, there are three applications: marketing, sales, and support. Marketing means, so let's say Dell company, they sell the products like laptops and mouse, and there are many computer accessories. They give advertisements, and due to advertisements and due to some referrals or due to some factors, they get the leads. Lead is someone who is, there is a chance of buying the product. So they capture that information. Lead is a person, belongs to one of the company. So if the lead is showing interest, lead will be converted into account, contact, and opportunity. Here account is a company, contact is a person who is working in the company. So opportunity is a deal, right? What exactly the company needs. So mainly sales representatives, they deal with the opportunity. So already we discussed these things yesterday, right? So once the product is sold, the next phase is support. Let's say there is a problem with one of the product. So we call to the customer care, and the customer care, they will create a case and they have to resolve the case within 24 hours or 1 week, or based on the issue, right? So based on the service level agreement. So all these things yesterday already we discussed, right? So already, so how this campaign means nothing but the advertisement, different advertisements will be provided. Due to advertisements, leads will be generated. Lead can be generated through company website, or they might call, they might mail. In different ways, the leads will be captured. If the lead is interested, lead will be converted into a account. Account is nothing but a company, and contact is nothing but the person who is working in a company. And the opportunity is a deal. So what they want. Okay, so that deal might be closed successfully or might be failed, right? The client, if they feel the quotation is more, they don't take. If they feel the price is good, they will take, like that. Once the product or service is sold, the next phase is support, right? So for any support activity, we call to customer care, and they'll create a case and provide the solution. So all those things will be stored as part of the CRM. Okay, these are at high level. So what is CRM? Okay, so now on top of the standard applications, whatever Salesforce provides, sales, marketing, and the service, as it is, all the clients, they cannot use those applications. For example, there is a healthcare. One of the hospital is using Salesforce CRM. There is a real estate company. They are using Salesforce CRM. So maybe there is a telecom company. They are using Salesforce CRM. Right? So if you see all the business, whatever we are discussing now, those belongs to different industries, right? The requirements might be slightly different. Healthcare, the way how they want to use the application is different. Telecom, the way how they want to see the information is different. So for that, to enhance the standard applications, whatever provided by Salesforce, Salesforce is offering a platform. That platform we call as Force.com platform. Okay. So just understand. So these are the two services Salesforce company is offering. So when compared to other technologies, so why companies they prefer Salesforce? It's very quick. There are ready-made applications, and within minutes they can access the Salesforce CRM, and also no need to do the initial investment, because if one of the company, if they register with Salesforce provide inbuilt, right? Everything in inbuilt application. When you interact with the web pages in the application, inbuilt business logic, how it execute internally. Inbuilt database, the database by default Salesforce only install and provide inbuilt database. To hold that data, we need memory. Inbuilt server space. Salesforce only maintain one of the server. In that server, they provide the memory, right? Everything they provide as a inbuilt. Okay. So as a package, they are providing everything, right? So no need to have a separate team for the UI development. No need to have a separate team for the database. No need to purchase any server, right? So all you need to do, register and pay monthly and get their services, which is very easy. So that's the reason most of the customers, most of the clients, they are preferring Salesforce. And also security. When you have the application, security is also important, right? When you store your data, if someone steal your data, which is very bad, especially banking companies, right? Banking companies also using Salesforce. Bank data is very sensitive, right? But still they are also using Salesforce. That means they are providing that much security for the services, whatever they are offering. So everything Salesforce is taking care. Mostly the customers, they need to register and make use of the services offered by the Salesforce company. Okay, that's the thing. And also one of the other advantage, maintenance. Okay, so when you deal with any other technologies, if they release any new version of the software, upgrading to new version, it takes a lot of time, especially .NET and Java. If they release a new version, they have to allocate a dedicated team. They need to work for 3 months or 6 months, and they have to upgrade to one of the latest versions successfully. It is not that easy. But Salesforce is cloud-based, right? Internet-based. We are not installing anything in our local system. Whenever there is a new version, right? For sure, Salesforce, they release 3 versions yearly. If you see here, winter, spring, summer. Now, summer 21 version is going on. Within few weeks, Salesforce is introducing winter 22. Keep on, right? Every 4 months, you will see one of the version released by Salesforce. When they release any new version, Salesforce will take care of updating that new software in the Salesforce server. From our side, no need to do anything. Okay, that is one of the major advantages. It's like Facebook, right? When you access Facebook, one day if you log in and see, suddenly you will see some new features. Salesforce also like that. They will take care of doing the maintenance. So all these are the advantages with the Salesforce. And also with Salesforce, which kind of applications we can develop, right? So obviously the standalone applications means downloading and installing such kind of applications we don't develop, right? Salesforce is based on cloud computing means internet, right? Everything, the services they are offering through internet. So through Salesforce, we can develop the web-based applications, the application which you can access through internet. And also we can develop the mobile applications. Mobile applications also we can develop by using Salesforce. Not the applications which we download and install. Those kind of applications we cannot develop. And also one of the common question, only Salesforce offers CRM applications or there is a requirement to develop the non-CRM application. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. So let's say one of the company need application to manage the recruitment process. Recruitment means it is not related to CRM, right? So one of the company, they need application for the leave management, right? So employees can apply for leave and manager can approve or reject such kind of application. That is not at all related to CRM, right? Those kind of applications also we can develop, right? Any web application can be developed using Salesforce. Okay, so that's the one of the point. So now to understand more, if I explain how the project start and once the project start, how they think and where exactly once we get the job we need to work, all those things to understand, I'll explain from starting of the project, right? So assume that Dell is one of the company, they are looking for Salesforce CRM. So what they will do, they will do a lot of research, right? Let's say from Dell company, Akram and some 6 team members, they are responsible to get the CRM application. So let's say they identified Salesforce as one of the #1 CRM platform. Now at present, Salesforce is #1 CRM platform. Okay. So they want to understand Salesforce and see whether really it is suitable for their requirement. So what they need to do, they need to visit one of the Salesforce website, talk to customer care and maybe sales team. Based on the solution, they will go with one of the edition. Let's say for Dell company, this unlimited edition is suitable. They'll click on try for free and one of the person will register and log into Salesforce. So for us, since this free edition will expire in 30 days. We are not going to register here. So anyone who want to start with Salesforce, for us, Salesforce is offering a free account. Right now, here we have professional edition, enterprise edition. Like that, we have developer edition. Right? Developer edition is a free version. No need to pay anything. Right? And it is lifetime. So think that we are registering here, but obviously, since it will expire, I am not going to register here. To register, we need to open one of the website called developer.salesforce.com. I think already explained yesterday. I explained about this. Now click on sign up. Okay. So all you need to do, make sure to open developer.salesforce.com and register here. For sure, don't register here. Even though I explained, some people they are registering and saying the account is expiring. If you register here, it will expire in 30 days. And whatever you practice, whatever you do, you will lose everything. Okay, so instead of registering here, make sure to open developer.salesforce.com and click on sign up and provide our details, right? First name, last name, and valid email address. Okay, don't think that we can give some email address. Here only incomplete registration we do here, right? So after registering, Salesforce will going to send one email. We need to check our email and we need to set the password. Okay, make sure to give the valid email address. This role can be anything. All these things you can choose, and username should be something@something.com, right? But technically, officially, first name last name, first name dot last name company.com. Let's say Dell.com. So akram.k@Dell.com, like that. So for us, we can give anything, right? I think yesterday already I created, right? So akram@batch99.com, right? So once we sign up, we'll get one email. So let me open that email. Yesterday already we registered, right? So I'm just opening that email. So I'm just trying to look for that email. Okay, if you see, this is the email I got, right? Once you sign up there, maybe wait for a few minutes, maybe at least 5 minutes, you'll get one email. So like this, this is Salesforce generated one unique URL for us, and this is the username. All we need to do, click on verify and set the password. Okay, so from your side also, for your practice, you need to register like this. Okay, I'm also going to give access to this class account, but whatever the access I provide to you, that is for your reference. But what you practice should be in your own account. Like this, you also register for one of the account. Okay, so here I'm just giving the password. I'm giving the password as sfdc@123. Okay, and some of the security question we need to answer. Let's say I'm giving like this and change password, and that's it. So this is the way, right? When the Dell company, when they register for free, when they sign up, obviously they will be logged in like this. Okay, now this is the Salesforce account. Within few minutes we can get the Salesforce account. So where it is, this is there in one of the Salesforce server. Again, this is not in our computer, right? It is in one of the Salesforce server. They connected that server through internet. Through internet, when you request that whatever the username, whatever the password we enter, as per that, it will go to Salesforce server through internet and get the information and show. Okay. So now once you log in here, maybe to show about the server where it is located and all those things. So left side, right? Once we register and once we log in, left side search for company information. So just company information. Okay. Click on company information. Here we are seeing the company information. I gave the company name as batch 99. Right? Technically, this is for the company name. This person is the primary person who registered behalf of that company. Okay. And the time zone, by default, it is taking United States, right? Time zone and the language, by default, it is taking United States. Okay. And also here, what I want to show you, this instance AP24, this is one of the Salesforce server. Okay. In this server, we got the space. Server is like this, right? In one of their location here, if you see inside that server, it will be like this. Not entire server. We got space somewhere here, somewhere in one of the place, we got some space. If some other client register, maybe tomorrow when you register, you might also get the space in same server, AP24. You might also get the space in same AP24 server. My company information is there in this server. Your company information also is there in the same server, right? It's like that. Okay. So we have to think that one of the server, these are the multiple servers. One of the server AP24, in that we got some space. That's the meaning. Okay. So just understand, maybe let me show you what are the list of servers available from Salesforce. So there is a website called trust.salesforce.com. In the notes, whatever I provided to you, you see all those URLs here. So one of the URL what I am opening is this one, Salesforce servers. Okay. So this is a server, and here nowadays Salesforce acquired many companies. Especially we need to look for this status.salesforce.com. So when you click on that one, and you need to click on Salesforce services. So when you click on this, you will see all the servers, right? All these are the servers from the Salesforce, right? All these servers, huge hardware. Each server is like a huge hardware. Salesforce is maintaining, and they connected all these things through internet. Through internet, we try to access not entire server. In that server also, each client will be getting some space that we are accessing. Now, if you see whatever we got is this one, AP24 server. Here AP means Asia Pacific. This server is located in Asia Pacific region. That's the meaning. When you register, if you choose United States, you will see NA. NA means North America. When you sign up for the developer edition account, and when you choose United States, mostly you get space in NA servers. NA means North America, right? Nowadays, Salesforce also introduced, I think, IND and some of the servers also. Nowadays, IND means, I think, India. Previously, these are not there. Recently, I think they also launched these servers, right? So, and also you see something like EU, Canada. I think all these things are recently added. Previously, only AP means Asia Pacific, EU means European region, NA means North America. I think nowadays they introduced servers for Japan and Brazil and Canada, different servers. All these are the servers. Okay, and also if you want to divide these based on the region. Let's say I want to see the servers located in Asia Pacific region. When you choose this one, if you see here, all these are the servers, right? We also have India, I think Japan, JPN means Japan also in the Asia, right? So like that. And also, if you see some of the servers, you see starting with the CS. CS means the customer sandbox. Sandbox means test environment. Going forward, I'll explain about that. Okay. So just to show you, right? These are the servers, and now in this server we got some space. So what is the health of the server? It is up and running. I think health is good. If you see some warning yellow color, there is a performance issue. If you see some red color icon, and so the server is, there is a problem with server. The clients, whoever is having application on that server, they cannot use that application. That's what will happen. And also here I told that Salesforce release versions, right? At present, summer 21 version in this server. Any client who is having space in this server, they see the Salesforce version summer 21. Okay. So when you click on maintenance, I want to know the new release winter 22, when it will be. So when you see here, they are going to install the new version on October 9th. On October 9th, they are going to install the latest version of the Salesforce software, right? So that's the meaning of that. So just understand those things, right? Now, why I am explaining all those things? This Dell company, they registered, and we logged into one of the Salesforce account. Now, whatever the Dell company get, that we call as production. Production means the live place where all the employees of the Dell company, they log in and they can access the application. So that place we call as production. Okay. So now Akram is one of the person logged in. At present, if you see, we logged in as a person called Akram. Okay. So this person can create few more users. For his colleagues also, he can create the user. Those persons also will log into the same company, same organization. So when I say organization, this account is not created for a personal person, right? This account is not for Akram, not for this person. This account is registered for Dell company. Akram is one of the person, one of the employee in the Dell company. This user create few more users. The other employees of that company also, they will log in, and they'll access the same information. Okay, so don't think that it is like a Gmail, right? When I register for my Gmail, only I can access my information. If you register, you can access your information. This is not like that. When you register, you are registering for a company purpose. Any employee of that company, if they log in, everyone see the same information, right? So it's a common place where all company employees will log in and access the information, right? So you should have such kind of understanding. Okay. So now this person, let's left side, once you log in here, left side, search for users, click on users. You know, we registered as Akram, and only that user is the primary user. But there are other users, right? So these users are auto-generated by Salesforce. Maybe for integration purpose, they created one account and one of the user for security. These are auto-generated by Salesforce. Even when you register also, you will see these users automatically generated. But technically, we created only one user. We registered with one of the user, and Akram is one of the user. This user can also create the other users. He can create accounts for the other team members also. Click on new, provide the team member name, email address, and the username. so that the colleague, the other person also can set the password and log in and use the information. So it's like that. Okay, so just to understand that now this company have the account and this is the production. Now here they use the standard applications whatever Salesforce offer. I told that as a software as a service, Salesforce is offering marketing, sales, and service, 3 applications which are based on the CRM. To access that, so what we need to do, left side, whatever these dots you are seeing, we call this as app launcher. Maybe going forward, I'll say app launcher. For now, you don't know, right? These are the dots. So when you, this icon we call as app launcher, okay? You need to click on this. So here you see the apps. If you are not satisfied with this result, you can also click on view all. And all these are the standard applications provided by the Salesforce. All these are the applications provided by Salesforce. Here you see marketing is one of the application, sales is one of the application, service is one of the application. There are many more other applications, right? But main famous, the thing what we need to know about marketing, sales, and service. So these are the applications. So all these employees of the Dell company, maybe for now the Akram and 6 members, they log in and explore these applications. Okay. So let's say I'm choosing this application, right? Choose the application. And if you see this application is open, who provided this application? Salesforce. By default it is provided by Salesforce. And here, how we need to understand this application, right? So to understand this one, I'm going to explain about few basic terminology. Okay. So here in Salesforce, one application is like one object. I mean, one project. So when you say sales project, we have one application for sales, right? Each project is like one application. Let's say this company needs a one of the they want to have a application for recruitment, right? Recruitment is one project for that company, right? We create one application for recruitment. Maybe they also want one of the application for invoice management. Again, we create one application, right? Here one project is like one application. Okay. Now one of the other thing what we need to know, do you know about table? Table means we store the information in the table format. For example, if you take Excel, right? We open the Excel. In Excel sheet, we store multiple rows and maintain the information, right? So table here in Salesforce, the table we don't call as table. We technically call as object. Okay. So when I say object in Salesforce, object is a table which is in database. It's like table in database, there are multiple tables will be there. Right? For example, if you see here, so when I say this is the database, in that there will be multiple tables, right? So this table, when you deal with Salesforce, we don't say as table. We call this one as object. Okay, that is one of the terminology you need to understand. And also in a table, when you have a table, in the table there can be multiple rows, right? So let's say, let me open. I'm opening one of the Excel sheet, one of the maybe Google sheet. Okay. Let's say here we have a table. So let's say here I'm giving first name. first name, last name, and email, right? So when you say this is a table, right? This is one table. These are the table headings, right? So here we can maintain some person's names, right? So let's say some email, right? Maybe so like that multiple. So this one what we call in a table row, right? When you deal with the table, we say row, right? So in Salesforce we call that as record. Okay, so the row in a table, when you deal with Salesforce, we call that as record. Okay, now first name, right? What is his first name? It's a column, right? In Salesforce, column we call as field, right? So in Salesforce, we say first name field, last name field, email field, like that. Okay, there is a difference with the terminology. Okay, the concept is same, but a little bit difference with the terminology. Okay, and also let's say when you deal with the database. So for example, here we have a data in one of the database table. How to get the data from the table? In general, we need to write commands, database commands to pull the data and display. In Salesforce, without writing any command, so in general, we have to use SQL or DML, some of the commands based on the database. Here in Salesforce, we don't write any command. We have a tab. In Salesforce tab, tab internally links to a object. Okay, so on the web page, when you click on the tab is like it will show on the web page. When we click on the tab, internally it will be connected to one of the object, bring the data and show on the web page. Without writing any command, this through the tab we can do that. Okay, so that's the basic terminology. Right? This basic to know. I recommend you to know about this. Okay. Now, when
Srini,
we
sorry
go
to
back
interrupt you.
to
Srini, this is Ayappa here. Sorry to interrupt you.
yeah.
You just explained about the tab, right? Can you just help me understand once again about the same, please?
Yeah, so tab in general, right? If there is a data in the database table, how we bring that data? So one of the way is we have to write the command, database commands, and pull the data like that. So here what I am saying is tab is one of the element which you can see on the web page. No need to write any command. All you need to do, click on a tab. Internally, tab will be connected to one of the object and it will bring that object information and show. So to understand that, so when you go to this application, right? Now here, whatever we are seeing, this is the name of the application. Now whatever we are seeing is the application. So here, this part, whatever you are seeing, this is the name of the application. Here, whatever you are seeing, these are the tabs. Whatever the tab I am saying, that is nothing but this one. This is the campaigns tab. When you click on this campaigns tab, what will happen? I'm not going to write any command, right? All I am going to do, click on the campaigns tab. This is internally connected to campaign object, right? Campaign database table. Object means database table. And it will bring that information and show on the UI, right? So that's the tab, right? This is the tab, and click on the tab. Internally, Salesforce will execute the business logic and bring the data from the campaign database table, and we see that information on the UI. Okay, let me click on that. Click on this. Right. Internally, Salesforce take care of executing the logic and connect it to the database table and show here. Here we are not seeing anything. And also when we say we are bringing data and showing here, I don't want to see all the data always, right? Let's say there are 1 million records in the database, right? 1 million records means rows. When you have 1 million rows in the campaign table, I don't want to see all 1 million records every time, right? So to filter, right? To filter and get what you want, we use this we call as list views. So here recently viewed means in recent 1 week, recent 10 days, whatever the records we see, only those it will show here. Now we have few more views here. I am choosing this view. Now if you see, you are seeing some data. So this, it brings this data from the database and we are seeing here. And also, who created this data? We did not create, right? Just today only we registered for this account and we are doing. By default, Salesforce provides some test data. This is the test data for our understanding Salesforce is offering. Okay, just you need to understand. Since we don't have time, I think already tomorrow we continue understanding all these standard applications and proceed with the other things what we need to know. Okay, so for today we are done. So before ending today, any questions anyone so far, especially from non-technical background? So still are you struggling to understand something? Please let me know.
Hi Srinu, Pawan here.
Hello? Yeah.
Hello.
Hello? Yes.
Srinu, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I have a question. Like you talked about non-CRM application.
Non-CRM
So
applications.
if you are creating a non-CRM application, like for yourself to maintain some data and anything, can you use it for free or do you have to make payment to Salesforce to use it?
Yeah. So it's based on how exactly you want. Let's say there is a client, they don't want anything, any sales application, or they don't want any standard application, right?
Yeah.
They want only the Salesforce platform and where they want
Correct.
to develop the custom application. They can choose only that edition, right? So
Okay.
they can talk to the, if you see platform, right? We have a platform license. So when the company go with the platform license, they don't need to pay for the standard applications provided by Salesforce, right? So they
Okay.
can use only the platform. And when you go with this edition, we don't see any standard CRM application, sales, marketing, service. We don't see anything. Everything
Okay.
from the scratch, we have to develop and deliver. So we can pay less by choosing the proper edition, only if the non-CRM application is needed. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, any other questions, anyone?
Sir,
Srinu,
can we access
I'm
again
Shiva
this
here.
this topic?
Sorry, can you come again?
Sir, I am not getting this video actually. So can I access again for this particular video?
This video will be, I will share this video tomorrow. You are talking about today's video or yesterday's video?
Both, sir.
Today's video, it take time. By tomorrow morning, you will get it. Yesterday,
Okay.
already I sent one email with the video. You mean you are saying
Fine,
that
sir.
you are
Fine.
not able to open that?
Exactly.
Can you check
Because
one more
first
time?
time, first time I'm seeing these applications and all, and these codes and all. That's what I'm not getting. I guess.
Yeah, see, the video I will
So
share.
again, I'll go through
The
it
latest
and
video.
yeah,
Yeah. This
yeah,
you
yeah.
will get by
Fine,
tomorrow
sir.
morning.
Thank. Yeah, sir. Thank.
Hello, Srinu.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah.
Yeah, hi. So we are using a developer version to develop Salesforce, right? So there is something called like Enterprise Edition and other editions, right? So are we able to get the same flavor of what we are seeing in the enterprise while doing development? Means all features and functionality.
Yeah. So the thing is, I also have Enterprise Edition and I'm using Salesforce CRM for my business. Okay. So I can say
Yeah.
when compared to Enterprise Edition, you see more functionality in the developer edition, right? You
Okay.
don't see the features which are available in the developer edition in Enterprise. Lot of limitations are there. Okay. So what I am saying is, if you have experience and the access of developer edition, it is equivalent to the unlimited edition, whatever Salesforce offer. Same experience you will get. Okay. But there are limitations, obviously. Those limitations I'll explain. Okay. For
Okay.
example, the space. Obviously, the server space, whatever Salesforce allocate, only 5 MB when you deal with the developer edition. Practically, business cannot maintain the information with 5 MB data, right?
Okay.
So when you go with the paid account, you will get maybe 20 GB, 30 GB as a default. So those kind of variations are there. Otherwise, the flavor, the whatever we see in the developer edition is equivalent to the unlimited edition of Salesforce. Okay, you don't see any difference at all when you work in the
Okay.
project, unless they do some customizations. Okay, maybe I'll
Okay.
also show. I'll also open my enterprise edition and show you. That also I'll do. Okay, when
Okay.
we discuss about the sandboxes.
Right. So and regarding these tables and objects, right? So is there like the where the data is getting stored, are we able to access the database, or only like we can use the tab function to fetch the data? Are we right?
Yeah, so yeah,
Are you
in the back end as a programmer, we can also query and access the data. Right, those things I'll explain as part of the development. As the administrator, we can click on the tab and access, and we have a concept called reports. By running the report, we can pull the data and see. So easily, without writing anything, we can pull the data, obviously. But as a developer, if you don't want to get the data from the UI, if you want to query and get, that is also possible. Those things we'll see as part of the development. Okay.
okay?
Yeah. So, but the data, whatever the data, it will be stored in Salesforce server, right? Already we saw AP24, sorry, AP14. In this server, we have space. Here, our data will be
Yeah.
stored.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions, anyone?
Hi, sir. This is Saujanya.
Yeah.
You have mentioned that Salesforce recently introduced new servers, right?
Yes.
So will they release these? Will they introduce these new servers when they release a version, or at any time they can introduce these new servers?
Yeah. At any time, they might add new servers, right? Based on the demand. Let's say day by day, the clients who register with Salesforce growing, right?
Hmm.
So as per the demand, they will purchase the servers and manage. Okay,
Okay.
that is not related to the version, right? Already we have base in AP 14.
Hmm.
We continue using this one. Okay,
Okay.
and also sometimes Salesforce will change our server also. That is also there. They'll intimate 6 months or 1 year before, saying your information will be moved to one of the server. That is also possible. That will happen.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone?
Sir,
Hello. Yeah.
um, in Salesforce point of view, no need to write any. You said no need to write any query for getting the data from servers, right?
Yeah. When you deal with the admin and right? When you deal with the standard screens, whatever Salesforce
Okay.
offer. Okay.
But how can we provide how can we get the data based upon the condition users requirement? For example, employee table is there.
Yeah.
So in employee table, salary column is available. So I want to get those who are getting greater than 50,000 salaries.
Yeah, I understood your question. Okay.
Yeah.
So for your question, if you see, I told that here we have the list views. When you create a new list view, here we find options to add the filters, whatever you are asking. Okay.
Okay.
When you add the filters, based on that only, it will bring the data and show. Okay. So these things, when we start configuring, that time you will understand. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Whatever you are asking with the point and click without writing code, it is possible. Okay. This is one option, and we have one concept called reports. There also we can apply filters, and it's like that. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone?
Yes, I have created this developer account like long time back when I was just trying to understand it myself, and I have created some users and some other things incorrectly. So I was going through this Trailblazer way as well, and it was asking me to follow those steps and run an app. So when I was trying to run an app, it was giving me some error. So I'm not sure if I will be able to run any app on this, or if I have done anything wrong on this setup or something. Is there a way I can reset it completely?
You mean to say you forgot your username and password and everything for that account?
No, I can log in. But whenever I run any app on that thing, I get an error.
So I mean, see, when you say you are running the app, means what is that? You are opening the application.
Yes.
So you are trying to log in, and you are opening one of the application, right?
Correct.
So that time you are seeing error. So maybe
correct.
The user, whatever you are trying to access, is that user belongs to system admin. Do you know that?
How do I check that?
Yeah, I think I think other people don't know about these things, right?
Okay.
Yeah, if it is not urgent with our course progress, we'll get to know all those things.
Sure.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that when we are trying for the first time, I should not face any error. That's the problem.
So once we discuss some topics, all those
Okay.
ideas will get automatically. Okay, because
Okay.
whatever you are asking, the other guys don't know.
Okay, I understand. Okay, no problem.
Yeah. So any other questions? Hello. Yeah.
Firstly, so we are not going directly into the development. We are focusing on the admin part only. Correct?
Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Next 1 month, we'll be working with the administration, the configuration. We don't write any code. Okay. Yeah. So I think we'll continue tomorrow. If you have any other questions, we'll discuss about questions and continue tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Bye.